Considering not opening up the chat room tonight because we get a lot of submentals who come in there. Right? I'm considering keeping it closed. If I do decide to open up the chat room tonight, I want you not to pay attention to the submentals who usually creep in. It's always usually one person, and she comes in under different names. She's a little mentally disturbed, so pay her no attention. Linda Jarman, she's Facebook crazy. Anyway, there can only be 100% of anything. Okay? There can only be 100% of anything. Right? Now, if you take the ratio of people that are going to be doing the right thing, right? The people that are going to advance and evolve versus those who won't. Because, see, minority, right, always tends to be the ones who advance and evolve over majority. Small minority. Small minority controls the planet. Right? Small group of people control the planet. Unified people who are together, right? They always end up controlling things as opposed to the mass populace who are individuals who are separated. We separate in threes, always. Notice the number, the cut of the numbers. It's 2/3, 1/3, right? You hear the Israelites, they always talk about the 2/3 of the people, right, that are going to be destroyed, and the 1/3 are going to be saved. Now, on a lower level of thinking, in the religious belief or the standpoint of religious belief, people think, that's speaking just mainly of people and numbering of people. But it's more than that. That's actually speaking about a people who are vibrating on a mental frequency via submental frequency, and those who are vibrating on a higher frequency, right? Those who are vibrating on a submental frequency vibrate on a second dimensional frequency and a third dimensional frequency, all trapped in person, place, and thing, all trapped in this world or this material plane, right? Terrestrial plane. Those who are referred to as the 1/3 are the people who vibrate on the fourth plane or the mental plane, the celestial plane, that which is a futuristic way of thinking, because all thoughts, all intelligence, all real thoughts and intelligence come from the fourth plane. They enter into your head from the fourth plane if they're going to be thoughts that are going to inspire you to bring something else new out. See, in a society, they try to not inspire you by telling you to think within a box. See, once you think within a box, you're not open to receive intelligence from that fourth dimension, and 5 and 6 and coming down into the third dimension. The third dimension to the first dimension is past, represents past and present, right? The first to the third dimension represents past, present, and an open door to the future. Or the third dimension, what we refer to as the present future, right? The present future, there's a difference between future and present future. Present future is where you are at now, or that line of that door where you are in the present and you have the ability to open the door to the future, which is why the number 3 is so ingrained within this material plane, because the number 3 represents an open door. And a group of people who are moving as a collective as one, right, are those people who are all in tune on that third dimension, or that third mindset, or that third level of thought, that third mental plane. These are the people who have the ability, as a collective, as one, to move to the fourth dimension as mental beings, right? People who are receiving messages from the future. If you're not moving as a one or a group or a collective toward that goal as a group, then you won't reach it. Some of our people get flashes, and they'll say things like, I know. The 2/3 will get flashes of future thought, bits and pieces of future thought. They will get inspirations here and there, but it will never last in their heads. It won't be enough to carry them to bring out future things in real time, in present day time, right? Because they're caught in the second and third mindset, or the second and third level or mental plane, right? Which is in this physical world, which is locked into boxes in the person, place, and thing in the material plane. They don't think on a mental plane. They don't think of a time where thoughts are not material. They're just energy or power that's streaming throughout the atmosphere that they have the ability to pick up because they're locked in past and present. They are not walking into the present, future, and eventually moving into the future. They're not moving there. That is the mindset of the 1/3. That's why I said in the book of Revelation, the 1/3 or the 13th, they talked about the 13th tribe because I said that's all synonymous. 13 represents 4. 1 and 3 is 4. It represents a new day, right? A new mindset, a new dimension in which we are becoming mental beings. We're becoming smarter. Our brains are picking up or receiving more intelligence. Our reception is open. So we have that ability to move forward based in that reception, right? This is important right now because as some of us are making that leap mentally, those who are looking to be around those who are housing that light, being those lighthouses I mentioned yesterday when I said in ancient Egypt they called the pharaoh the lighthouse, right? One who houses the light of intelligence of God, right? Which puts him in a leadership position to lead people collectively, right? This is important because we're about to house that light again, an elect few, a chosen few, that 1/3 or that 33% who are out of the 66% of the people amongst the so-called black race, right? We're going to discuss that in great detail tonight. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz, and this is State of Mental Radio, and tonight we're talking about the 2/3, 1/3 breakdown, right, and the separation of the black race, right, because it is happening as I said it would happen. It is happening, the separation of the so-called black race, intelligent from ignorant, those who are trapped in the as the 2/3 are the ignorant, the ones who are hopelessly trapped in belief, philosophy, and culture, right? I always keep mentioning this over and over again because I'm trying to drive a point home. People may say, brother, you seem kind of redundant. You say these things and you can't keep mentioning the 2/3. You keep talking about Africa and the people who are trapped in Africa and Egypt and Islam, because you have to constantly be reminded. The people that's trapped in the world, you have to constantly be reminded. You have to be constantly reminded that there is nothing in this world for those of our people who are seeking to move ahead in the future. There's nothing here in this present-day world. They show you that every day. They show you the same uninspiring things every day in this society, right? Even our own people have become predictable. We've been predictable for the last 500 to 1,000 years. We've been predictable. So that means we're moving in a rotation. People know us already. People know our attributes. People pretty much know and expect the 2/3 to do or think a certain way on a certain level, right? That's how you're able to control the 2/3. But then when someone comes up to push out the 1/3, people who are thinking on a different level, people who are not answering to the old titles of black and Negro and African American and whatever we call Moorish and all this other stuff, we're not answering to those titles anymore. We're identifying ourselves. We're taking hold of the reins as a new people, as a mental race, as a mentalic race of people, as a mentalian race. We are taking reign, and we're taking hold of the reins of our own identity. That's the first step in a physical evolution, because the black man and the so-called black woman have not defined themselves or have not been allowed to identify themselves in thousands of years. I said all of these identities, all of these ways of thinking are from someone else. Every last single one of them can be traced back. Africa, Egypt, all these Egyptology and all these things, Pan-Africanism, religion, all these things can be traced back to somebody else, right? And even if they're connected to traditional ways of thinking of so-called black people, they're still not our ways, because tradition is built up by those people who are locked in that time frame for that time. We're supposed to be developing into a new people, right? At 1/3. That's what the 1/3 is supposed to be. The 1/3 is supposed to be people who are breaking the cycle and moving forward, who are becoming charged, right, with a new light. Moving forward, charging like batteries to move forward, regenerating. and taking in different capabilities. We, by being locked in a box, by allowing these so-called people within the conscious movements, within the so-called Pan-African thing, by allowing these people to tell us that we African and that's it, or we're Moorish and that's it, or we're Nubian and that's it, or that we're Muslim, Christian, Israelite and that's it. We're cutting ourselves off. We're damning ourselves to the bottom and in the circle of the two-thirds. Those who are not going to evolve. Those who are not going to be amongst the elect. Those who choose to sever their connection with Amen, the true and living God, the higher self, the self that's always evolving continuously. I said we have to get to know our continuous intelligent selves moving forward if we are going to evolve into something else, because we're here to change. The only thing that's real in life is change, and we are not changing. People tell me, "Oh, Brother Nuben, you say these things. When's the change going to happen?" I said, let me tell you something about what we advocate in the state of Mentellect. Mentellect is an intelligent way of life. That's the life we're trying to live, because living an intelligent way of life is going to move us forward in this evolution. It's not tell me what I got to do. Do I got to meditate? Do I have to say this, or do I have to say that, or do this? No, that's not what it is. That's not how you change. Our people would love to do principles and practices, right, and still remain the same as far as their lifestyle. We like to think there's some easy trick to this. No, you have to live this. You have to live an intelligent lifestyle. You have to change yourself. You have to transform in order to transmit. In order to receive transmission, you have to transform yourself. You have to take yourself from amongst the two-thirds and become the one-third. As I said, it's always the elect, the chosen few, are the ones who carry or garner the most power. God only deals with the chosen few, not the masses, never the masses. He only deals with the chosen few, the elect, the people who are coming together collectively to receive his intelligence and move toward their higher selves, to move out of a state of stagnation, a mental stagnation, to receive higher thought, to build new societies, to build new movements, to raise new generations of children who are more advanced, a race of geniuses, a race of young gods and goddesses, Amen beings. This is the goal. This is the continual goal. This should be the continual goal in our evolution, right? When I said yesterday that we were radio-activated people, we're supposed to be like remote control people. When we hear a certain order that goes out through the universe via frequency, metallic frequency, we're supposed to turn on, and we're supposed to start the movement forward. We're supposed to start separating. We're supposed to click on. The same way the two-thirds click on when they hear the ignorant nonsense that's going in this society, drug dealing, ignorant hip-hop and all, they turn on to that. We're supposed to turn on to a higher frequency, to a higher authority. We're not supposed to be able to see these people anymore or hear them anymore. After a while, the two-thirds will be drowned out by the frequency of Amen. The two-thirds will be drowned out by the frequency of Amen. It's already happening with me. Those of you who are in tune with this high frequency, right? Those of you who are in tune, you can't, after a while, you have nothing in common with the majority or the rest of the black race. You have nothing in common, right? Because what you're hearing in your head is tuning them out. You're tuning them out. The frequency that's being picked up, that's forcing you to respond, right? The radio activation that is causing you to look beyond what they're talking about, to not to be able to even relate to what they're talking about, remotely relate nowhere to what they're talking about, to where y'all just moving side by side with these people, and you're not able to understand them or relate to them. That's the separation of the two-thirds and the one-third. The collective coming together of a new race of people, the Mentellians, right? That is God evolving a race of people, Amen. That is you being called. Many are called, but few are chosen. The majority of our people are not receiving the intelligence of God because they choose not to. They choose not to, right? They choose not to, so therefore they've accepted the mark. They've accepted the mark way before there was a chip. Even the belief in that story of a chip is still accepting the mark of the beast. Why? Because they put that story out and our people ate it up. They believed it. They accepted it. They didn't understand that the mark of the beast was his mentality and his way of thinking. That was subliminal. They gave you a bunch of outward things, and they told you about this chip, yet nobody received the chip yet. Where's the chip? It's easier for our people to believe outrageous things than the subliminal things, the subtle things of how you're controlled. When I say radio-activated people, like I said yesterday, our people are radio-activated on a submental frequency, whereas, like I said, certain things we are tuned in to like, to go toward, to prefer. Like, for example, a new style or old style where we stopped wearing certain things back in the day. Like, there was a time where we was wearing Calvin Klein jeans, right, or Levi. Then all of a sudden we stopped wearing it. Then all of a sudden something makes us wear it again. All of a sudden it's popular again. You don't know how it became popular, but you just see everybody wearing it. That's a radio frequency sent out on this submental plane to get you to wear these things, to start styles going, right? To get people to purchase these products, right? Same way a frequency goes out, right? On a higher from beyond the fourth dimension, going beyond the fifth dimension, going beyond the sixth dimension and beyond, a frequency goes out for the elect to gather in this day and time. But then you got a lot of so-called black people of the 2/3 who are speaking against us coming together. They're saying, be careful. Don't join no group or don't join no movement. Watch what you're joining. But wait a minute. When people gather to listen to you, that's a group. Is it okay for people to gather and listen to you in a group? But then when they want to come together collectively on their own, like a lot of these so-called conscious teachers are saying, we're not supposed to come together, that we are our own gods. Notice that's the call out amongst our people. That's a thing where they're saying we don't need to come together as a group. We don't need a leader. We don't need to come together as a group. Why are we hearing this all of a sudden a lot? Amongst the conscious, amongst the everyday Negroes in the 2/3, why are we hearing this? Obviously, they want to prevent the coming together of a new group, the 1/3. They don't want to see the 1/3 evolve amongst them or beyond them. They don't want to see that. Because what does that mean? That means you're going to stop listening to them, right? That means they serve no more purpose. That means you actually have a direction other than listening to them talk about conspiracy and we not from this planet. Yeah, okay, conspiracy and we not from this planet. Now what's next? Because there's always supposed to be a next. There's always supposed to be something, some activity or some action that precedes those words. What is the action supposed to be? The action is supposed to be us coming together collectively to live as those radio-activated people, those people who are moving on a higher frequency, on a higher principle, and on a higher authority. That's what's supposed to happen. A new progeny or a new genetic or a new generation is supposed to come out of that by us coming together. A new society, a new movement, a new focus, a new future. That's what's supposed to happen. Not us sitting around listening to these Negroes talking about we from this planet, we from that planet, or we not from here, and more conspiracy talk. That's the 2/3 talk. That's the 2/3 campfire talk, where we sitting around listening to them buying their books and all this nonsense, and there's no action. There's no activity afterwards. Just talk. Just give me your money and sit around listening to me. No. There's supposed to be a way of life that's supposed to be being laid out for us in real time, right? A system or a mindset or a collective where we got each other's back. We living as a new community where we're receiving fresh, new messages, where we're being activated, right? Where we're receiving and thoughts are being generated into our heads, where we're creating new institutions, new businesses, new things that are bringing our people together collectively. Why do I hear so many people speaking against that? Why do I hear people telling me, so-called black people, saying, oh, we don't need to come together? That's the 2/3 talk. because the 2/3 are mentally dead. The 2/3 don't want to see the 1/3 raise up and connect to Amen and become those Amen beings, because it's not in them. They've already made a pact, right? They've already made a mental pact with the beast, and they don't even know it. They make a mental pact with the beast every day because they follow his ways. They accepted his thing. They won't even accept, no matter, notice, you could show them all day, like I've done, that Africa comes from the white man, Scipio, and all these white people they claim they against. You can show them this all day, but they still call themselves African. Riddle me that. Why would you do that? Shouldn't you be like, well, you know what, brother, you right. We're going to come up with another name. Or we're not going to deal with these old things. We tried these before, but we're going to move on because it ain't doing nothing for our people today. Why don't they do that? Answer, because they've already made a pact with the beast. They've made a pact in the present day, right? In this day and time, they've made a mental pact to stay in a present state and keep their people in a present state, or to keep their people back. Because there's no way you can tell me that these people don't know what they're doing. By keep telling us to look backward, by keeping us thinking over and over the same thing. That's how you keep the 2/3 you keep the 2/3 breeding amongst themselves. You keep the ignorance breeding. But then if one person says, you know what, we're moving beyond that, that's the beginning of the 1/3 breaking out. That's the 1/3 breaking out of the asylum, the insane asylum that this planet has become, that the 2/3 have become amongst the beasts. They become part of the insanity. They say all the time, they say if you keep repeating something over and over and over again, and you keep getting the same results, and yet you're expecting something different, then you're insane. That would be them. That's their description. That's the 2/3. That's the 66%. Right? The beast number is 6. The 2/3 represent the 66%. Right? The 1/3 represents the 33%. And where's the other 1%? The other 1% represents Amen. Right? Represents that future, that represents the future generation, that 1%. Because we've understood that the 33 is supposed to come together as one and move forward. And we're supposed to be receiving intelligence from the future into the present to move us forward from the one. Right? Remember in Islam, 99 plus 1 attributes. What's the plus 1? Plus 1 is God, Amen. Us at the highest self. When we come beyond the submental, beyond the 66%, the 2/3, and we come as a 33%. Right? 3 times 3 is 9. And they said 3 plus 3 is 6. Right? We moved beyond the 2/3, right? The 66%. And we've moved on to a higher state, right? As those 9-dimensional people, right? And we are seeking that 1%. Because that 1% is where our reception comes from. The 1% is where the reception comes from. That 1% means a new race of people as one collective, as one unimental force, one frequency coming together to pull the people together. Now you got these Negroes copying the white man, talking about polyverses and multiverses and all this nonsense, right? There's only one universe. There's only one frequency that's going through the universe. That's it. There's no poly, uni, or poly, multi. It's only one. One universe. One infinite space. And through that infinite space, intelligence is traveling. These Negroes are part of the confusion. They keep the confusion going because the 2/3, that's their job. The job of the 2/3 is to keep the ignorance going, to keep us in a state of confusion. Because once the 1/3 realizes that 2/3 of our people are not us any longer, that we are not the same any longer, that we are starting to separate, right, mentally from the 2/3, that just because we share the same complexion means we're not the same people. Doesn't mean we're the same people. We're starting to separate. That is a call out. That's an order that's going through the universe right now. The elect. It wasn't even possible for people to sit up here and listen to this broadcast. At one point, we would think it wasn't possible for people to sit up and listen to a broadcast like this, because if it wasn't Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Moorish science, is whatever. If it wasn't of the old, our people wasn't going to listen to it. But here it is. We're talking about receiving intelligence as high-frequency beings, forming a new state of high-frequency, high mental frequency beings, or a new state of receptionaries, right? A new state of mental receivers, a new race of mental receivers that are beyond black, that are beyond land masses and boundaries, that are beyond land laws and treaties and all this nonsense, that are beyond that, who are thinking beyond that, right? That's power. That's power. Because the people who are able to connect to the future are the people who start to alter the present. I say it again, the people who are able to connect to the future and focus on the future are the people who start to alter the present. You can't alter the present from where you are. You can't alter the present from the past. You can only alter the present from the future. By pulling ahead of the present, laying out plans, mapping them out and walking them through, thus changing your present. You change the present from the future. You put your mind in the future. You move 2 and 3 steps ahead of everybody else by doing that. That's how that's done. That's real. See, the majority of our people, the 2/3, they don't want to see that happen. Notice, since I've been doing this radio show, why is it that everybody fights so hard with me to stay in the 2/3, to stay amongst the old ways of thinking? Why is it? Why am I getting such a fight? Why am I getting such a fight to stay amongst the 2/3? Why are people saying, "Oh, brother, you African brother. Oh, brother, you black brother. Oh, brother, why you don't want to be African? What problem you got with Africa?" And I told them, and they still want to. Oh, black African power still. Africa this, Africa that. Just told you. Why? Okay, go and be African. Go and be whatever you are. It's not for you. We trying to live this as a life, as a way of life. We trying to live an intelligent way of life. How we eat, how we get together and connect. Men and women get together in their relationship, intelligent relationships. How we eat intelligently. How we get together and have intelligent offspring who are coming together collectively, who are being raised together collectively. How we're dumping the old ways, how we want our children to have new names, new identities, new mindset, new focus. That's what we want. An intelligent way of life, not a bunch of Negroes who get around listening to me waiting to get their minds blown. That's not the state of Mentel. That's not the state of Mentel. The state of Mentel is a life. We are advocating an intelligent lifestyle within the state of Mentel. As a collective, as business people, as professional people, as people who are going to make a real change or looking to make a real change in real time. See, because black people constantly keep talking about, oh, we got to get together and do this, oh, we got to get together and do that, and we reciting these things, but nothing's changing. Nothing is changing. No impact is being made. The last impact that was made was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Dr. York. Those are the last 2 impacts that were made, the last 2 major impacts that were made amongst our people. Right? The last 2 major impacts that are still here, that are still operating, that were made amongst our people. Now a 3rd door is open because now the mental frequency has been raised. People have already mastered us in Islam, mastered us in Christianity, mastered us in Egyptology, mastered us in 5% teaching, mastered us in all these things. People have already mastered us. Why? Because they had time to read those teachings and those doctrines. The beast had time to study them. And by studying your doctrine, he mastered you. He understands how you think because he knows you think in a circle. He knows nothing new is going to come from you because he's already convinced you that nothing new is under the sun. But then when you got people who are thinking outside the box, there's something from beyond this, and they've opened themselves up as receivers, right? They've opened up the door to pathmatics. They've opened up the door to mentellect. They've opened up the door to Amen on a higher frequency, beyond the Amen and the Amen Ra and the Amun from the Egypt, because that's not the same Amen. They've opened it up as a race of Amen beings, right? A new race of beings, a high mental frequency of beings. The door has been opened for them that way. See, that's not expected. That's not even expected amongst the so-called black race. That's not expected amongst our people, because our people don't take it seriously. Our people don't expect us to move forward. Our people don't expect us to come and make a change on evolution. They think, like I said, our people think we're going to be African forever. We're going to be Moorish forever. We're going to be 5%ers forever. We're going to be all these Pan-African forever. No title lasts forever. But what does last forever is that we will be receiving forever. We will be forever receiving higher mental frequency, higher thoughts, future thoughts. That's why we took the name mentalists. That's why we took the name Mentalian. Because it's real that we would receive higher intelligence all the time to advance us. Change is mental change. Change comes by way of higher frequency, by higher thoughts. That's how change comes. Change doesn't come by reciting the same thing over and over and over again. The door has to be open, right? The door has to be opened to receive higher intelligence, to reprogram the people. Yeah, we have to be reprogrammed, right? We have to be reprogrammed to open up. Because, as I said, when intelligence streams through this atmosphere, when radioactive thoughts, right, that are activated by radio reception, people who are the first or the natural ones to pick up this reception, when they are activated, those thoughts or those ideas or that level of frequency is looking to go somewhere. It's looking to be housed. And we are the first people or the lighthouses that it's looking for. And it's not finding its mark in our people. It's not finding its mark in our people. Because our own so-called people, the black people, the ones who are in darkness, they don't want to see the frequency hit its mark. They don't want to see the frequency hit its mark. The mark is supposed to be the 1/3, the 13th tribe or the 13th generation of new people coming up. 13 represents a new day, a new level of intelligence, a new people. After 12, 1 and 2 is 3. Notice they talk about the 12 tribe, 12 this, 12 that. The Bible is sealed by the number 12. But then 13 is the new door opening, the elect, right? The 2/3 will be in darkness, your black race. This is not rocket science. This is common sense. Your 2/3 will be in darkness. What is the darkness the 2/3 are in? Black power, Pan-Africanism, black this, black Africa, the black continent. That's darkness. There's no light there. There's no light for people who are not open to receive light, who think that this is it. And for them, this is it. Don't let them convince you that this is it, because they work hard. As they work harder to convince you that this is it, that we are Africans, that we are these things, that we are these things that people told us we are. They work harder to enforce that in the minds of our people than to actually reach beyond that, because to them there is no beyond that. The 2/3 are trapped in this world. They're trapped in the material plane. There is no forward focus for them. There is no purpose for the 2/3. There is no purpose for the 2/3. There is no purpose for the 2/3 to exist, really, to be honest with you. There's no purpose for the 2/3 to exist. They've taken up space. They were used at one point as a ground to be a gateway for those who were looking to advance into a higher self or into a higher state. But there's no gateway anymore. They keep talking about principles, right? Customs of other people. What customs and principles have you developed? What customs and principles have we developed as a new people? Because each generation is always supposed to produce a new people, a new thinking people, not people saying the same things or repeating the same things. Mentalians the mentalists, right? That is an open door for new things. That is an open reception. That is the difference. An open reception, an open race of receptive people. That's eternal. That's timeless. That has no beginning or ending. That is not new nor old. It is timeless. The reception that comes through it will be new. The radio is not new, but the reception that comes through it is. We should be reaching and calling ourselves after this higher name, Mentalian, right? Those who are in tune or in communication mentally with the future race, the God race, the Amen beings. If enough of us are calling ourselves that and coming together collectively and bringing about our own developmental phase, our own reprogramming, our own washing of our minds, right, out of the filth, then we will become higher beings. We will become advanced people. We will start altering our situation, our financial situations, our mental situations, our physical situations. We will alter everything for the better if we come together and alter the problem right now, which is a mental one. The inability, or not the inability, but the unwillingness to change. When we start saying we want change, then change will come to us. But as long as we don't think there's anything wrong and we think this is normal, how we're living, how we are receiving the same things over and over again, how we keep calling ourselves the same thing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? Then there will be no change for us. Change will come when we're ready to receive it. But the majority of our people, the 2/3 who have taken center stage, they don't want the reception to change. They like things the way they are. Because I see proof positive of that is I see these people arguing in the name they're arguing against change, or they're arguing against me, who advocating change, a total wiping of our mental, all the things in our memory, a total wiping of the racism and the total wiping of the titles and the things we got from other races of people, the black, the African. They are against us totally wiping that and starting new. Why would you be against that if it hasn't helped our people thus far? Why would you be against that? Because the 2/3 don't want to see a change come. When you clean your body out, when you clean the poison out of your body, right, and you begin to lose weight, doesn't that start a change in your life, a change for the better? So if we wipe out the filth or the identities of these people, the people we claim that we don't like so much, the people we claim, we were put in slavery to, and, the people that we claim that are not our people, if we wipe out their memories in our heads, if we wipe out their philosophies and their beliefs in our head, right, and become a new people, wouldn't that be a change for the better? Wouldn't it be? If that's not if we wipe out the Islam, the Christianity, the Judaism, or the Israelitism, or the Pan-Africanism, or whatever stuff we get, Masonry, all the things we got from these people that we keep existing as black people in. If we wipe these things out of our memory and start new as a bright race of new people, shouldn't this denote a change for the better? Shouldn't this bring about the 1/3? Shouldn't this bring about the freedom that we've been looking for, the mental freedom? Because you can't get a people to be physically free until they are mentally free, right? If they are mentally enslaved, then they will be physically enslaved forever. They will never be free. I keep hearing our people say all the time, "Oh, we need to get free. We got to get free. We got to get free." You will never be free because you're slaves still mentally. You're slaves to these titles, to their philosophies and beliefs, so they can let you go all over the world. You're just going to take your chains with you. You'll take your mental chains with you because you're in bondage, right? You can't think outside or beyond where we at. Like I said, what is it that the world is offering our people right now? What is it that the world offers our people right now? What does the world offer our people? What are all these things from the old ways of thinking? What does it offer our people now? Shouldn't we be coming together trying to bring something new out of this? You looking for me. See, this is the problem with our people. They looking for me to tell you new things. That's a mistake. I said the new things I'm introducing our people to, or to constantly keep saying something new to blow your mind, that's thinking like black people. That's thinking like black people. Bright people are looking for intelligence that's going to change their lives, that's going to alter their lives, that's going to bring change to their lives. Right? Black people look for things to excite them, to blow their mind, because they're looking to be entertained. We got a lot of black people still here, and they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. They still looking at what's next. Well, what's next like it's a movie. Right? And when they don't get to hear what's next, when they hear me keep talking about, okay, the change got to come when we come together collectively in the state of mental and we start bringing and start putting in the work, they don't want to hear that part. They just want to get their minds blown, so they still got the black mentality. They still got the mentality of the two-thirds. They still got the mentality where they're looking to be shocked and told they gods and they great people and that, the white man's the devil. They still looking for that. Or they're still looking for people to tell them whatever. Like I said, new things, anything to blow their mind, but they don't want to change their condition. If you tell you something new, I ask you, show me something new. Change your life. Show me what it is you thought of. Because if this teaching of mental like is supposedly going into your head, then there should be no way you should be unproductive. There should be no way you shouldn't be coming into the state of mental. There should be no way you shouldn't have a couple of dollars in your pocket changing your life if this message is going in. But if you still sitting around here doing the same thing, smoking weed, talking about nonsense, talking about ancient aliens or whatever the hell you talking about, or Israelites or whatever you talking about, if you still talking about the same things and you ain't changed yourself, then you're not listening to me. It don't matter. Stop listening to me. Because you of the two-thirds is not going to go in. Because the people who this is going into, the ones who are evolving mentally, the ones who want this message of mental life, these are the people who are willing to change. These are the people who are willing to change. Because how change works, how this intelligence works to change you is you make one step toward change, or you make 2 or 3 steps toward change, then the intelligence will start to take hold of you and you will start to change. You will start to see real changes in your life, but you have to be willing to live this as a way of life. All people who are not willing to live this as a way of life, this is not for you. Don't listen to me. I tell people all the time. People will sit up here and say, I'm trying to form religion or whatever they say. We're not trying to form covenants with the two-thirds. We're not trying to form covenants with the people who are stuck in the second and third level of thinking, or the second and third dimension. I should say the second and third mental level. We're not trying to form connections with those people, the people who are stuck in the material plane. We're not trying to form no connection with you. We're not coming together with you because we got the same skin complexion. No. We're coming together with our people who are on the same plane mentally, the ones who are looking to change, the ones who hear the frequency and the voice of change. Change. Who's advocating change in this day and time? Nobody. Everybody's saying the same thing. Who's advocating change? Who's advocating the total stripping or the total mental stripping of our people? Who's advocating that? Who's advocating the total mental nakedness of our people, the raw mental nakedness of our people, stripped bare? Right? Who's advocating that? No more black. No more Africa. No more Islam. No more Judaism. No more 5%erism. No more Moorish science. No more none of that. Start brand new and see what generates. The first thing that generated, once we started, the ones who started to pioneer the knowledge of mental life or the intelligence of mental life, was that we were mentellectuals, that we were mentalians, that we were receivers, that we were coming together collectively, that a new symbol or a new sign of power would be produced. That's what happened when we started to strip ourselves in 2003. And the reception has been coming steadily. And in order to build the reception, you have to build the people. You have to bring the 1/3 out of the 2/3. You have to bring the 33% out of the 66 in order to produce that one mental frequency. That one mental frequency that's going to have people moving on a 1 or on a first instead of on seconds like the human race. This is real. This is real. Right? Our people are moving in seconds. Yet, we're supposed to be moving in first ahead of the humans as the 1/3. As those who are receiving intelligence from beyond the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth dimension coming downward. We're supposed to be moving on a whole different frequency, a whole different level, a whole different way of thinking. We're not supposed to be moved by the same things the black race is moved by anymore. And I'm seeing that in myself. The same things that move the black race don't move me no more. That's how you know the evolution is taking place. That's how you know the change is separating our people. We trying to live this as a lifestyle. We live in mental like as an intelligent lifestyle, an intelligent way of life. We're not looking for mental like to blow our minds. We're not looking to hear what's the next new thing. No, we live in this. We are the next new thing. We are the continuous next new thing if we are coming together collectively. But for those of you who are looking to get your minds blown to listen to these radio shows, then don't listen to me no more. Don't listen. This is the first you'll ever hear a so-called radio host tell people don't listen to his broadcast. I tell the people, don't listen to this. This is not for you. You have to go. You haven't been totally ready to reprogram yourself or wash your brain of the filth of the 2/3. You still got a lot of black in you. You still got a lot of black in you. You're not ready to wash yourself of the filth. Right? You're not ready to wash yourself of the filth. Right? You're not ready to wash yourself mentally of the filth. Right? That's why the filth keeps hanging on. That's why the filth keeps hanging around you. That's why you keep attracting the wrong people around you. Because you're not ready to let go of the filth. You're not ready to stand up and be the 1/3. You're not ready to stand up and be the Mentalians. That's why the black filth keeps hanging around you, the African filth, the Pan-African filth. These things, these people, this mentality keeps hanging around you. Right? And we draw it all over the place. I opened up the chat room for 1 second, and a piece of filth floated in there. Right? Piece of garbage came in there. Right? Piece of that shows you, like I said, this evolutions take place. Why can't the so-called 2/3? They not satisfied with the 1/3 thinking beyond them. Don't want to be associated. Why? What problem does what problems does the 2/3 have with us separating ourselves? Because the truth be told, you, the 1/3, are the one that gives the 2/3 its power. The 2/3 are dead without the 1/3. You are the bright ones who exist within the black race. You are the ones that they look at. You're the ones who shine within the black race. But in you shining within the black race, it's holding you back because you should be coming together collectively with your people to move forward and put that energy into moving forward, to produce or regenerate a new race of people, to reprogram a new race of people, to restructure a new race of people, to sit and receive direction and to be actionary people. No more reactionaries. That's what the 2/3 is. That's for the 2/3. That's for the ignorant. Reactionaries. Right? People sit up in there and say, black this and black power this and black power this. It's funny how in the 2/3, that's where your black power people at the 2/3. It's funny how I had more heat and drama come from the 2/3, the so-called black Pan-African people who talk black power, black peace, and all this other stuff. Those are your active 2/3 and your inactive 2/3. Your inactive 2/3 are the people in your hoods who smoking weed, sitting around talking about nothing. That's your inactive 2/3. Right? Those are the inactive ones of the 2/3. Then you have your active ones who are the so-called conscious of the 2/3. Right? They're the ones who keep this circle of madness going. Pan-Africanism, religion, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they keep the madness going. Right? Keep our people saying the same thing over and over again, hypnotizing our people. Keeping their brains filthy with the same nonsense. They're not open to break away from these things. We talked about an ultimate brainwashing, an ultimate brain scrubbing of the filth that has been laying around in our people's heads for thousands of years. Think about that. A regeneration of a new people. A regeneration of a new people. You rinse your engines out in your cars. You clean out your gas lines. You flush your gas lines. What happens? Your car runs perfectly. You don't think the same thing happens with your mind once you flush all the garbage out? Flush all the old ways of thinking. Flush out that black mentality. You don't think the same thing happens? You don't think the same thing will happen to us, whereas we got people coming around and starting businesses now, thinking outside the box, outside this black box. People who are becoming free. This message is freeing our people. The ones who are coming together collectively as the 1/3 is freeing our people. The intelligence of God, Amen, the true and living God, is freeing our people mentally from the beast. But your 2/3, they have the mark of the beast on them. Don't be fooled by the black talk. Because like I said, they came in here talking about black this and black African power and all this other stuff and Pan-Africanism. So if that's what you believe in, then go in peace. This ain't for you. Why listen to my broadcast? Why are you so hell-bent on people have people, this guy Kevin G, he hosts a radio show, right? He talk about Africa, this, Africa, the boringest stuff you ever want to hear. The most nonsense stuff you ever want to hear. Slow flow, everything. But he comes in the chat room and he curses me out and call me all kind of niggas. Now, this is supposed to be the so-called black power, man, and black Africa and this, that, and the third. But he coming in here cursing me out, talking about my mother. Really, Kevin G? And you got a radio show and people listen to you? I'm going to put your name out there. You come in here cursing me out, you might as well be a white man. You come in here disrespecting another so-called black man just because we're not following the African thing? Really? But that shows you he's part of the 2/3. He's part of the 2/3. These people in the 2/3 want to keep our people in a state of ignorance. They don't want us to receive the intelligence of Amen. They want to say they gods. They want to say we created everything, or they created everything. They part of this thing that created. Then create something new for our people. Then, since you are the only gods and there is no Most High, create something new for our people. Then that shouldn't be nothing. Since you created the universe, but you forgot. Since you created the atmosphere and the sun, you put everything in motion and you put everything in order, but you forgot. Change the order of our people. Change the condition of our people. Since y'all all gods. Don't pay no attention to these people. They're here to keep our brains filthy with the same lies, the same beliefs, and the same philosophies. And if we don't respond to it, if we don't accept it, then you see what happens to me. You see, let me be the example of the evolution of our people, because I've made no personal attacks on anybody. Except to defend myself, I've talked about doctrines. I've talked about identities and titles that have to go. And if we're going to be moving forward into a new race of people, an evolutionary people, that's all I talked about. Now, if people took offense to me talking about the Moorish doctrine, 5%, all these other things, they're not your doctrines. They're not your doctrines. They're not your teachings. You're just following them. They existed before you came here. The only ones that should take offense to this is Clarence 13X or somebody else who started the Moorish science of Noble Drali. They're not here no more. So I don't think they would care that much. I don't think they would care that much. If they really in tune, if they really are of the Most High, then they would applaud this right now. Because they would just open windows. And no disrespect to those men. No disrespect to Clarence 13X. No disrespect to Martin Noble Drali, Elijah Muhammad. No disrespect, none. Love all those people. Because they wanted the best for our people. They had that in mind. Unfortunately, they had a lot of people that came behind them who were of the 2/3 who just wanted to profit off of their teachings or keep a bunch of people mentally dead from those teachings. Keep them moving in circles. The whole point of these people coming was supposed to be bringing new puzzles or pieces to the puzzle. But each time these people came. So that means another person would have to come to bring another piece of the puzzle. But y'all don't want that piece of the puzzle. The 2/3 have become comfortable. Right? They become comfortable. They okay with how things are here. But we're not. We're not. So the elect have to move on because we're in that day and time of the elect. We are in that day and time of the elect. We're not interested in the people who are. We're not interested in the people who are not trying to come amongst the 1/3 or the Mentalians. We're not interested. We're only interested in the people who are trying to move forward because there's nowhere else for us to go. We can't look back. We can't look around. All we can do is look forward. And we can't look forward as Africans. We can't look forward as Muslims. We can't look forward as Israelites. We can't look forward to those. Those are the past. We have to look forward in the present as who we truly are, who we're supposed to be as receivers. We'll be right back. A good mentalist, a good one who is in tune with Amen, because the only ones who are in tune with Amen are mentalists. The rest of our people are not in tune with Amen. So for our people to sit up here and say, oh, I'm in tune with Amen, or can I say Amen and chant Amen? No, you can't, because it's just a ritual and a practice to you. It's not a mental attunement with you, because it's not changing you. People have to realize where the change has to be made in order for you to start tuning into Amen. People have to be willing to change. If you're not willing to change, like I said, then it's no sense in you tuning into this or listening to this. It's not for you. Go and get your minds blown on black radio and listen to some more conscious talk. This is my radio broadcast is not for you. It's for those people who are tuning in, who want the true frequency and intelligence of God as mentalists. People who are mentally channeling Amen, the true and living God, the Omni-Man, the Omni-Race, the eternal or continuous ones, the ones who are looking to link themselves to the continuous ones, to link their bloodline to the continuous ones. That comes with a way of life or living. Don't tell me, oh, yeah, well, brother, you're not telling me how I can link myself to Amen. I'm not telling you anything. I'm telling the elect, the collective, the group. This is for the group. This is not for individuals. That black talk, that's black talk. We don't do black talk here. We don't do individuality here. If you want individuality, go to the black conscious things. Go to the Pan-African talk. Listen to that nonsense. We move as a collective because we understand that the power is in the collective. These people kill me when they say this nonsense about, oh, we don't need to come together, but one of their biggest icons in the so-called red, black, and green thing was Malcolm X. And what did Malcolm X say? As one, we easily be broken, but as a group, they can't break us. Right? So what does that mean? We had to come together collectively as a people. Now, all of a sudden, we are our own individuals. We don't need no leaders. We don't need to come together as a group. Amen deals with groups. God deals with groups. The Most High, the true and living God, deals with groups, not with individuals. He sends reception to one in order for him to share that reception with many, to pull the people together as a collective, as a covenant, as a collective, as a frequency, or people who can receive that frequency from on high, from the future. This is not no mystery place and no spook. The whole thing is about repairing the line. The true people of Amen, the true Amen beings are mentalists. They're channeling the intelligence of the omni-mental beings. They're channeling the intelligence of the omni-mental beings, because the intelligence of the omni-mental beings is that which will save our lives in the future for the things that will come into this world that are surely meant to come. Why? Because this planet cannot move forward with all this dead weight on it. This planet cannot move forward with this dead mental weight on it. So the majority of the people have to be cut down in great numbers. The majority of the people, the dead mental weight has to be cut down. And the beast is fulfilling his promise to the Most High, Amen, to cut down the planet, to cut down the people on the planet. He's fulfilling his promise. The elite, they're fulfilling their promise to God, Amen, to cut down the population, to give them a lower count, to focus only on those who are necessary to be here. The majority of our people are not necessary, because we can always breed a new generation of cooperators, people who are cooperating with the intelligence of Amen. We could always breed a new people. We don't need our people as in the state they're in right now. That's why we have to separate, right? That's why we have to separate. That's why there has to be a separation amongst our people. The worst thing that we ever did was stay amongst the people, our people. That's the worst thing that we ever did. That's the worst thing that ever happened within the race, was the staying amongst our people. Because had we not stayed amongst the people, had we separated ourselves, we would have had more power coming together collectively. Notice, whenever we separated amongst ourselves in different movements and organizations from the general populace of black folks, that small group garnered a lot of power, garnered a lot of influence, right? They were seen in the world for that time. So now that we're in the new millennium, 13 years in, 10 decades in, the influence, the power is going to be greater. Because when you look at, you talking about the Moors, you talking about the Nation of Islam, you talking about the Nuwapians, you talking about all those groups that came in the last millennium. So a new millennium group or a new millennium movement of people are going to receive stronger frequency and become stronger collectively and mentally if they move together, right? Because we're in a different time frame. The frequency has been heightened. The intelligence level has been heightened in our people, or the frequency that's going out, the orders that's going out are being utilized to heighten the people even greater than it did in the past. We're supposed to be more advanced than those groups from the last millennium. As a new millennium group, we're supposed to be more advanced than those people of the last millennium. And it's not a shot at those people who came in the last millennium, because the people that's going to come in the next millennium are going to be more heightened than us. But it all depends on what we do now. What we do now as a collective coming together. That depends on that. If you don't care about yourself, how can you care about your children, your grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren? Because that's where God's bloodline moves through them. God's bloodline moves to the elect. Amun's bloodline, the Amun race's bloodline, moves through our children, moves through the elect, moves through us. That's why we're doing this. That's why we advocate and coming together, forming a new state, forming a new community, forming a new collective of mentalians, forming a new identity based on mental reception, not based on land mass, not based on religious beliefs, not based on landlords and landlords. We're not doing that. That's why I told that guy before. I said we're doing something that has not been done. We're forming a movement based on mental reception. We're making ourselves timeless receivers of mental power. That's our identity. Nobody is doing that. No one is doing that in this day and time. No one is focusing on the future. No one is talking about evolving into the future. Just because people use the word future don't mean their thoughts are in the future. Doesn't mean their mind frame is in the future. You can't tell me you in the future if you're still calling yourself an African. You can't tell me you focused on the future if you're still calling yourself a Moor. You can't tell me you focused on the future if you're calling yourself 5%. You can't tell me you focused on the future if you're still a Muslim, a Christian, an Israelite, or an Egyptologist. Because what preceded those things before they came on the planet? These are all timely things. But the thing that is timeless, which we should be wrapping our heads around, tuning into, is this mental frequency as mentalists, as this continuous receivers. As Amun's continuous receivers, because he is the continuous sender, and we're supposed to be the continuous receivers of intelligence. If you don't see our people moving forward, it's because we refuse to receive his intelligence. We want to go based on what we think we know. We want to go based on the philosophies and our own beliefs, which we got from the white man, which we got from other men. They told us we was black. They told us we was African. They told us we was Moor. They told us that. And if you want to get to the nitty-gritty of it, even the black man, because a lot of the so-called black men were of the two-thirds in the past who gave us all those other tribal names based on their own perception. I don't care if it's a white man. I don't care if it's a black man. I don't care if it's an Asian man, East Indian man. I don't care. We're not receiving any identities from any of these people. We're supposed to be receiving our identity from on high as receivers. That's it. As receivers of mental frequency from the Omni race, the Amun beings. That's it. Not from man's philosophy. I don't care what color or race or creed the man is or woman. Because man and woman's perception is limited. As I said, you have people, you have knowledge that comes from people, and you have knowledge that comes through people. We want the knowledge as mentalians that comes through and tells us to gather collectively and tells us to reprogram ourselves and brainwash the hell out of ourselves. Yeah, we brainwashing the hell out of ourselves. I'm brainwashing the hell out of my people. Cleaning that filth up, cleaning the last millennium, 10 millenniums of filth out of our minds, starting us over again. Just like Dr. Sebi cleaned up the body with the alkaline diet, cleaning the crap out of our bodies. Now I'm here to clean the crap out of our minds, to get us thinking logically again, to get us from thinking about being emotional, stop with this emotional nonsense. Get us off this emotional roller coaster. Get us off of this philosophical roller coaster. Get us off of this belief roller coaster and start dealing with logic and intelligence again. Because mentellect, as I said, is based on logic. It's not based on past teachings of the Bible and the Christianity and the Islam and the Judaism. The only page we make reference to in the Bible is the book of Revelation, because things are being revealed in there about an elect people right now. People who are willing to change themselves. Change for your babies. The book of life is only for those people who are mentally in tune with Amen. Because Amen is us in continuous state. It is us in moving state, motion. Amen is us in motion. Amen only deals with those in motion. Those who are in mental motion, those who are in physical motion. Amen is only dealing with them. He is the only one who's going to reveal or open up that door to higher intelligence for us so that we can start tapping into our higher mental capabilities, our intellectual capability. Right? Intellectual, why? Because mental frequency, when we get to this level of frequency beyond the 4 and the 5, it's only for a chosen few. That's where the rest of the 2/3 drop off. See, once we are all together collectively, right, as the 99%, moving on this 2 and 3 frequency, right? Then when we get to that 4, that's when the light comes in. That's where the frequency comes in, and the 33% separates from the 66%. And that's where you start to see the 1/3 raising out of the darkness, out of the black race. The bright race is coming to birth. They're receiving the intelligence of mentellect. They're receiving a new frequency from on high, from the future. Their reception is being restored. Their connection is being restored. They're moving forward. They're moving faster. They're doing things above and beyond. Because, like I said, the thing is to gather the people. We have to gather collectively. We have to live this. We have to be in tune with each other. We have to be communicating with each other. Same way the Jews have their community, and they stay constantly communicating and congregating with each other as a community, which I applaud that in them. We have to do the same thing as mentalists, as mentalians. We have to do the same thing as a new race of people after the order of Amen. Because Amen has sent the order out to gather our people in this day and time, to turn our backs on the 2/3. Because the 2/3, they want the beast. They want his philosophy. They want his beliefs. They want his information. They don't want Amen's intelligence. They chose the beast's information. That's why they're sitting up here consuming his books, looking at his videos, right? Using his philosophy, using his terminologies, talking like him, acting like him, tattooing and smoking themselves up like him, because the 2/3 are giving themselves over mentally to the beast. They have the mark of the beast on them. The black race, the 66%, have the mark of the beast on them. That's real. Now, for our people, I don't want to hear that. This sounds religious to me. Go have a nice day. This ain't for you. You already been brainwashed by the beast. But that's you okay with that? All your philosophies and all the things you mulling over in your head that you think you doing new came from him. You ain't doing nothing new in this society. Nothing. Because if you was, you would be making an impact somewhere. The light would shine on you. Others would start to gather to you. But as we introduce this knowledge of intellect, people are coming around us. They recognize this frequency as something new. Just because you don't, the 2/3, they're not going to recognize it. They're going to look to pull it down to something they can recognize. They'll say it's Egypt. They'll say it's Africa. They'll say it's black power, because that's what the 2/3 do. They want everything in the gutter with them. They want everything in the circle with them so that they can try to understand it. But like I said, and like it says in that biblical phrase, the light shineth in the darkness, but the darkness comprehendeth it not. That's what this means. That the intelligence will shine amongst the ignorant, and only the intelligent ones will get it, but the ignorant won't. It'll be like we having different conversations, or we speak in a different language. When we speak in English, when we speak in the same language, but they're not going to be able to comprehend it. They'll be able to hear it. The two-thirds will hear it, but they won't be able to listen to it. They'll hear it, but they won't be able to listen to it. That's what the two-thirds will do. They'll hear the intelligence of intellect, but they won't be able to listen. They'll tune out. They'll go crazy off of it. They won't question it or challenge it or ask any real questions about it because it will leave them stupefied, because this is coming from on high. Amen is raising his people in this day and time. We're in that time where he's raising the intelligence of his people, the one-third. And those of you who know you of the one-third, you should be trying to come amongst your people. The time of the elect is now. There's no more mystery like the Israelites was talking about, oh, well, we don't know who the elect is, but we know the elect is coming. The time of raising the elect is now. Right now. New name. Right? New book. New name. New focus. Future focus. God's name in their forehead, Amen. Versus man's name in their forehead, the human. The beast. That's what we headed toward. There's no more of this mystery. Ain't no more mystery. There's no mystery gods. There's no spook gods. There's real evolution. There's real mental evolution. God is raising a race of mentally evolved people. Just as the white man talks about Cro-Magnon man to Homo sapien, it's the same evolution from black man to bright man. Only some of our people are black woman to bright woman. Only some of our people won't make the transition. That's your two-thirds. The 66% won't make the transition. The 66% bloodline and genetic are not around in the future. Seek out those people and lay with those people and bring about a new bloodline and see whose bloodline will be in the new generation, who will be of the one-third, the 13th tribe, as they call it, the 13th generation, the regeneration. The new people coming, the new seeded people, the people who are the real seeded entities. They are seeded with the intelligence of Amen. That when Amen sends the order through the universe as he is doing now to evolve and send this intelligence of intellect, they're going to respond. They're going to come from wherever they are, and they're going to be in congregation together. They're going to be in reception together. They're going to say the name of Amen collectively together. As we said in Egypt at one time, when our people were getting in tuned, and we will say again in America. But we will not say it this time under a religious guise. We won't say it as the beast tricked us into saying amen under Islam, Ameen under Islam, amen under Christianity, or amen under amen under Israelitism or Judaism. We're going to say amen first, middle, and last, and continuously, because this is who we are. We're moving forward in this frequency. Don't look for the black race to move forward. Don't look for the two-thirds to move forward in this frequency, because there's a separation already. Amen sent out the order to separate, to raise the mentalians. That's why I do this. I don't do this because I want followers or because I'm trying to get money out of people. Where's the money coming from? I'm paying for this. I pay for this message. I'm doing what I'm being ordered to do. I'm teaching what I'm ordered to teach. That's it. I'm radio activated. I'm receiving frequency generated in my head to teach what I teach today. Those are the two-thirds. That's going to sound crazy to them because they're not doing nothing but receiving radio submental frequencies from the white man. That's why they read his books. They get turned on when they hear conspiracy theories. They get turned on when they hear some stuff from some chakra points and some melanin talk, and they get turned on when they hear that. They radio switch goes right on. Their brain lights up when they hear that. where they hear that same stuff over and over again. Pan-Africanism, Zuluism, 5%. They get turned on when they hear that over and over again. And like I said, this is not a shot at the founders of those groups, right? It's not a shot at the people who are members of those groups. But as a focus on something where we're supposed to be moving forward as a collective. That's why I mentioned these groups. It could have been any teaching, because we're supposed to be moving forward into the future as a new race of people. We're not supposed to be dealing with the things we were dealing with in the past. We're supposed to be dealing with future knowledge, advanced knowledge. How do you start? By receiving future knowledge, by opening yourself up to new things. Like I said, the BC opens himself up to new things all the time. He's constantly opening himself up. That's why he's able to control you, because he's opening himself to the reality of new things coming. He tells you there's nothing new coming, and you accept it, and you believe that nonsense. But he don't think that way. He knows the truth. He knows that intelligence will come back, or come forward, I should say. Intelligence will come forward to a chosen few, to an elect, to a 1/3. That's why when he sees the number 13, he stopped putting the number 13 in buildings at one time, because he said that was a bad luck number. You see buildings go from 12 to 14. Why? Because 13, they said, was a bad number. 13 represents a new beginning, the end of the old, the end of an old frequency, the end of an old rulership, a new race coming up, a new people in tune with God, a new people with a new vision, people being sent messages. That can't be held back. That can't be stopped. No matter whether Nuben Menkaure raises here or not, that can't be stopped. The elect are going to be raised regardless. That's it. Amen is supreme. All gratitude is due to Amen, the supreme power, the true and living God. He lives within us. We are representing Amen in the present, the seen state, and our children are Amen in the future state, the unseen state. But both states exist. They exist in a state of mental, or a state of mental, because that's where the frequency or the connection is. The future, from the future to the present, to create the present future. We're supposed to be one, the present and the future. That's why they use the terminology, the present future. That's supposed to be the people in the present with an open door to future intelligence. That's what that's supposed to represent as the 1/3. People who are in reception, who are in tune, people who have become radio activated again, on a higher frequency. Not dealing with the submental, but on the mental level, the mentalic level. Right? On the mentalic level, where frequency comes and is flowing in abundance throughout this atmosphere. If we are paying attention to it, if we are in tune with it. If a lot of our people are not seeing it, what could we do? What could we do? Do we stop evolving? Do we stop moving forward? Do we stop becoming what the orders going out to tell us to become, those mentalians, those mentalists? Do we stop revolving, or do we stop evolving, I should say, not revolving, because we've been in a state of revolution, but do we stop evolving? Do we stop moving forward because a few people, or the majority or the 2/3 have a problem with that? Hell no. Hell no. We move past them, because greater things will come to our people. Greater things, greater reception, greater reflection will come to our people. And once we move these obstacles out of our way, and we're ready to live this as a way of life. We're not sitting around here living this as some thing to blow our minds, because that's the black mentality coming here. I want to get rid of the black mentality amongst our people in the state of mental. We don't want people coming in here looking to get their minds blown. We're looking for people coming here looking to live mentellect as an intelligent way of life, as a future way of life. Mentellect has a dietary plan. Mentellect has a system of reception, how we communicate with Amen. Our ascendants. Mentellect has all of these things. Mentellect has a way of grooming. Mentellect has a way of reading and reception, and all these things we're doing, that we're developing. New. as we are becoming developmental people again. That's something we lost. But it's coming forward. Not back. We're coming forward. We'll be right back. Reception comes to a people who want to be better. Yes, reception comes to a people that want to be better in their change in life. Like I said, the people who are coming to the people that are coming to this change, the people who will come to this halfway mark, the people that are coming to this halfway mark are the people who are open for reception, the people who are going to drive home a new collective. We are looking to be living receivers, living mentalists. We are looking to be living receivers, living this every day of our life. In other words, we don't want to put mentellect on. We don't want to put on mentalist or the costume of mentalist or the title of mentalist and still be black people, right? We don't want to put on the costume of being mentalist and still be black people. We're not trying to do that. We want to be mentalists 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want to be in constant reception 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's how we move in mentellect. This is a life choice. This is an intelligent life choice that we're making. We're not looking to get our minds blown. The fact that we are becoming a new people gradually through a sign of progression, or through a straight line of progression, that's enough to blow our minds already. The fact that mentellect exists in this day and time, that somebody is saying something different in this day and time and talking about the separation of our people, that was enough right there. So anything that comes after that is just icing on the cake. We're trying to live this. We're trying to raise a new flag. We're trying to raise a new people. This is the first time in thousands of years our people have been identified by one of our own. It's the first time in thousands of years that we've been identified as one of our own, by one of our own. Who, like I said, all the titles we took on, Moor, Muslim, Christian, Israelite, all these things came by way of somebody describing us as black people or as religious people, usually from white people or other races of people calling us these things, right? We've accepted their philosophy, their ideology, and all these things people told us we are. African, right? Now, in this day and time, in this real day and time, not only have we received our own identity from one of our own, but that identity links us to a higher state, a higher self, a higher principle and purpose of who we are as receivers on earth, as that connection to that Amen race, as that race of gods or supreme people or advanced people, right? As that new species or that different species of people, not of the human, not of the earth, not of Africa, not of this terrestrial plane, not of this material plane, but of that celestial plane. Those people who are from out there in the future, who continuously keep moving, the people that put us here as a living bloodline, as a manifestation, the same people that put the creation here. That's who we're coming in tune with now. That's the breaking point. That's the point where we break away. That's the point where we go from crawling as babies and to start walking as men and young women again. And we will continue to be young men and young women in this knowledge of mentellect. We will continue to be young men and young women in this knowledge of mentellect, in this intelligence of mentellect. We will continue. We won't get old in these old ways of thinking. Because I'm going to tell you something. When people think up your ways of thinking, when people tell you, identify you, and tell you who you are, when their thoughts are limited, it tends to age you. Their thoughts age you. What do I mean by that? When people told us we was African thousands of years ago, hundreds, thousands of years, whatever. When people told us we was African, when people told us we was whatever, all the names, Muslim, and we had to be Christian, that was a limitation on those people's thoughts. They thought that we would stay in these rituals forever. And staying in those rituals, we died in those rituals, saying the same thing over and over again in a state of death, mental death. We stayed in these things, and it aged us even faster. That's why you look at the older generation and they look so old, and then when you see us today, we look young. We at 40 years old looking like we 25. We at 55, 65 looking like we 40. Why? Because that is the reception that is evolving us, or that is being utilized in us, that we're supposed to be picking up in this day and time. It's supposed to be keeping us youthful, our minds youthful. Why is your mind supposed to stay youthful and open? Because you're supposed to be open and have a youthful mind to receive new thoughts, to receive new ways of thinking, advanced ways of thinking. But once your mind gets old, once your mind gets wrapped around these old philosophies and beliefs of mankind, then you're not going to accept anything new. You're not going to accept Amun's reception. You're not going to accept Amun's messages. You're not going to accept the messages of Amun. All you're gonna do is sit up here and constantly be arguing the same argument over and over again: white against black, religion against religion, Africa against Islam, whatever you arguing about. The same questions and arguments we've been having. When we're supposed to be in heavy reception, when we're supposed to tune these people out, when we're supposed to tune the human race out in order for us to move forward. We're supposed to take ourselves out of their circle of madness and create our own line of sanity. I'm going to say it again. We're supposed to take ourselves out of their circle of madness and create our own line of sanity. That's what we're doing in the state of mental. That's what we're doing. We're walking a line of sanity because we came out of a circle of insanity. We came out of a circle of people kept telling us things over and over again about who we are, how far we're supposed to think, how long we're supposed to think, whatever, right? Because I'm going to tell you something. The black race and the white race react the same kind of way when the bright race is trying to raise themselves. I'm going to say it again. The black race, I've noticed, and the white race react the same way when the bright race is trying to raise itself. What do I mean by that? If you notice, when I was doing these radio broadcasts, and I'm talking about demented people and things, demons or demented people, you saw all the white demons come out of nowhere, right? You saw them come out making all kind of crank phone calls. Now, like I said, you would think they would have just went somewhere and chilled out and sat down, did what they was doing, and mind their business. Why they draw to this broadcast? The black demons came out, calling me names in the chat room, all that. Why did they do that? Because they vibrate on the same frequency. They the same people. They're the same people. Don't fall for that black and white against each other. They're the same people. They vibrate on the same submental frequency. Africanism, all that, same mental frequency, right? They want us to stay in our place. The black race wants us to stay in our place as we black, we African, black and white, black against white. They want us to stay in that place. That's what the black race wants. That's what the 2/3 wants for our people, to stay in that submental place. The white race, the ones in the submental, not all the white race, but the majority of those in the submental state, they want us to stay in that place as rappers and hip hop and something silly Negro nonsense. They want us to stay because that's where they see us at. That they can't think of us beyond that. So when they hear conversations like this, that sets them crazy, and they want to come in and curse people out, call people names and whatnot. Because had we been sitting up here talking about hip hop and playing music all night and talking about some nonsense, they wouldn't have came in. They wouldn't have came and bothered this. If they would have sort of post up on Blog Talk about hip hop night and bitches and whole night and nigger night, they wouldn't have came and bothered. Excuse me for using that language, but I'm just showing you. Had they saw that advertisement on Blog Talk, they wouldn't have came in here and did what they did. They would have went about their merry way. Same thing with the Pan-African and the Black Talk Negroes. If we would have been talking about hip hop or black and whatever, right? They wouldn't have came in here cursing me out and calling me names. Because I don't know none of these people. Why would they come in and doing that? Because they all want you to stay in your place. The 2/3 want you to stay in your place. They don't want to see an evolution take place in our people. The 2/3 wants us to stay in our place. The white, the black, what they've come to expect in our people. They've come to expect nonsense in our people. So the minute we don't stay in our place, it gets them activated. It starts to get them radio activated to come against us. Notice somebody said something profound. They said, black people have been, notice what black people, we are programmed to attack each other. You know that? You walk down the street, the black man is looking at you, and he got a gorilla grill on his face. He looking like he's ready to fight you. The black woman, she waiting to get into you see her, she mad, she waiting to get into a fight with another black woman. All right? Why is that? We programmed to attack each other because the 2/3 are becoming more and more like the beast. The beast is the same way. He looks to attack. Right? You don't have to be doing nothing to him. He's just looking to attack you. Right? That's the mindset of the black race right now. Because like I said, we over here doing our radio broadcast, we minding our business. But the black race, they got the mentality of the beast. Right? They got the mentality. They got the mindset of the beast. And that's going to come out in the 2/3 more and more. Some of our people, like I said, they're not going to be able to pick up this reception after a while. Like I said, those of our people who are with us, I don't expect to see the same people with us that are going to be with us in the future because, like I said, it takes people who are strong mentally to stay here, to stay with this, to live mentally like it's a way of life. I don't expect to see the people who standing on the sidelines cheerleading and rah, 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 sit spoon bar, state of mental, yeah, mentellect. No, I don't take these people seriously. To me, y'all still part of the 2/3. To me, y'all still think like black people. You still think like black people. You don't think like bright people. You don't think like mentalists because you would be here in the state of mental. You would be here in reception trying to raise the frequency. You would try to speed Amun's intelligence on coming here because as it says, if you build it, he will come. If you build it, meaning the people, if you congregate the people and bring them together as a covenant, then Amun's frequency will come faster. You will see things change faster. You'll start to see the reception increase. But if you're standing on the side, you're not doing nothing, and you're still in the world, and you're not willing to put your life to this, then you're not going to see a change happen. Don't look for change to happen. Don't ask me, intellectual, when you going to say something, drop some science on this and drop some. I'll tell you, don't talk to me. Don't ask me to drop nothing because you're not here to bring the frequency in. You're not trying to change. You're not trying to become parties. You're not trying to find our people and bring this frequency down on earth. You're not trying to bring this frequency closer in to strengthen our people. You want to be an individual in the world still getting your mind blown. That's the mentality of the 2/3, the black race, not the bright race. That's the mentality of the black race. They want their minds blown. They still want to hear the same stuff over and over again. They want to be the same people. But just with outside information, because they still think this is information. They don't see this as intelligence. They don't see this as something that they can practically utilize to change their life, because that's what we out to do in the state of mental. We out to change the lives of our people, the elect. That's who we here for. We're not here for nobody else. We're not here for the black race. We're not here to convince the black race, oh, yeah, Nuben just wants you to believe him. He wants you to follow him. Nuben don't want you to follow him. Nuben don't want the black race to follow him. He don't want the 2/3 to follow him. I want the 2/3 to go and listen to black radio and Moorish radio, 5%. Do what y'all been doing. I'm not telling y'all to stop doing that. I'm talking to the bright race, the ones who are amongst our people. This is not for you. This is who we reaching out for. We reaching out for the people who really want to change, that know y'all full of crap. The people who smart enough to know that y'all full of crap. They know that y'all on the same submental frequency as the beast. They know that y'all got the mark of the beast in y'all head. The 2/3 of the black race, the 66%, y'all got the mark of the beast in y'all head. Y'all already finished, man. So I'm not talking to you anyway. I don't want you listening to me. I don't want you following me. I don't need your love. I don't need your hate. We need the reception of the elect, the bright race. That's all we need. That's what I'm out here for. That's what I'm investing my money, $100 a month in this radio broadcast, because I know the elect exist. You think I would invest $100? Because, like I said, if it was about getting listeners, if it was about garnering money, if it was about going around doing speaking engagements and talking about some nonsense and trying to get people in rooms to hear me talk about some BS, if that was the case, then I would include everybody. I would be like, yeah, my black brothers, yeah, my black sisters, yeah, you would hear me doing the whole get up, like the conscious cats. I don't do that. I'm not here for y'all. This is pure, raw, and uncut. And you don't give pure, raw, and uncut to the 2/3, because then you got to water it down. Then you got to make it where they could still smoke weed, they could still act like Negroes, they could still stand around talking about basketball games and Yankee baseball caps and talk about nonsense. You got to water it down. Then it's no longer Amun's intelligence anymore. Now it's man's information. We're not doing that. I'm damn sure not doing that. I'm following after the orders of Amun. So let me go ahead and answer these questions before I get out of here. I didn't open the chat room tonight because, like I said, I wasn't going to give an audience to the submentals. I wasn't giving the audience, so they had to find something else to do tonight. They had to find something else to do. I'm not giving the audience to the submentals anymore. I'm through doing that. All right. So let me go ahead and answer these questions. Who are the 2/3 and the 1/3 of the so-called black race? The 2/3 are the ones who are tuned into the beast, right? The humans. They're tuned into the same submental frequency as the humans, as I've been saying, and I'm going to continue saying it until it's drummed into the heads of our people that you're not part of the human race. The 1/3 is not part of the human race. The 2/3 are of the Amun race, but they've chosen to be human. They've chosen to be like the human, the beast. They've chosen to accept the philosophies, beliefs, and the cultures of the beast. Africanism, Egyptology, Islam, they chose to accept the ways of the beast, man. They have not accepted the intelligence of Amun. That's only going to be for the bright race, the 1/3. They're going to receive the intelligence of mentellect because it's only going to be for the mentally chosen or the elect, right? The 1/3 of the 13th tribe, or the 13th, the ones who are going into that fourth dimensional state, that mental state, and receiving intelligence from on high, from Amun, the future race, right? How will they be separated? By intelligence and by ignorance. Those in the ignorant state, the 2/3, they will follow the beast, and they will continue to follow in the same rotation and nonsense. And those of the 1/3, they will follow the teachings or the intelligence of Amun to raise them into the Amun beings in this day and time. It's starting to happen already. We already in reception. We already in progress. We already in the process. It's gradual, but it's happening. All right? Who is causing the separation? Amun is causing the separation. Just as Amun caused the separation of the evolution or the limited evolution of the human race from the Cro-Magnon man to the Homo sapien, he caused the limited evolution of the human race. He is causing an advanced evolution in the Amun race. Right? He's causing an advanced evolution in the Amun race right now, where there's a separation in the so-called black race taking place right now. The 2/3 from the 1/3. The 1/3 are the ones who are going to tune into Amun's frequency, and they're tuning into Amun's frequency right now, and the 2/3 will continue to tune into man's frequency. I don't care if it's the black man, the white man, whatever. They will continue to tune into the submental frequencies of man. All right? Who is trying to keep the black race together? The beast is trying to keep the black race together. What do I mean by that? The beast and the black beast. The beast is not just the white man; it's the black man, and the beast is not all white people. It's the majority of the whites and the majority of your blacks, right? The beast is those who vibrate on the submental frequency. They want to keep the black race together in that submental frame. As I said, the white beast and the black beast, they vibrate on the same frequency. Like the black beast that came in here with their Pan-African nonsense and cursing me out and calling me all kind of names, they want us to stay in that black talk. They want us to stay in that Pan-African talk. They want us to stay talking about the same thing. They don't want us to free our minds up to receive this intelligence of Amun because they're not getting it. And the white beast, they want us to be hip-hop heads and tattooing ourselves up and following their image. And if we ain't doing that, they come in here too and curse me out, call me all kind of stupid MFs and everything else, and I ain't did nothing to these people. Why are you drawn to doing that? Because they realize the frequency is being raised. They realize that. The train is pulling out. Right? All right. Why is this separation necessary for the future evolution of the people? Because Amun wants to raise his people back on earth again, his natural receivers again, because the bloodline connection has to be made. The bloodline connection has to be made. Amun's people have to be connected as one bloodline again, because Amun's people are not in connection in this present day and time. They are out of reception. And if Amun's people are out of reception, that means that his his frequency is slowed down in the future, because it has to be a straight line of evolution for even him to move forward. And that race of God being men and women to move forward, our ascendants, our children. So that connection has to be made straight across in a straight line forward. And that's it. Join us Monday for the next State of Mental radio broadcast. Also join us March 31st for the next State of Mental reception meeting. All right? We're going to close out. Let me see what I want to close with. It's been a good night. We've had a demon-free night, right, because I closed the chat room. Same, I have to do that because I would like to see your comments, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to lend, I'm not going to entertain people. I'll be damned if I'm going to sit up here and spend $100 a month to entertain or have a place where demons could gather and talk nonsense about me. So I'd rather close the chat room, and those who are listening, you can listen in private. I'm not going to give the demons any place to congregate at, you know. So I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. This has been State of Mental Radio. Good night. See you Monday.
It's the Republic of Mentalect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentalect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can